Hi, I'm Mr. O'Connell, and this instructional video will discuss the requirements for our persuasive PowerPoint projects. Our Vietnam lesson will span the course of 3 weeks. Each week we will discuss one topic in detail. At the end of that week, you'll be required to turn in a persuasive PowerPoint project. Now, you'll have one PowerPoint project per topic. Each PowerPoint will be 3 slides, and you'll be making the argument for or against something that we discuss in our topic. So for example, week one's topic will be Vietnam as a proxy war. You'll be arguing as to whether or not you consider Vietnam a proxy war. Our week 2 topic will be Lyndon Johnson's policies versus Richard Nixon's policies. And then you'll argue which president's policies impacted the war more. And our week 3 topic, is the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution. And in your project, you will argue whether or not the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution was justified. Now, for your presentations, you'll be required to have 3 sources per presentation. Now, of your 3 sources, one source has to be a primary source. You can have 3 primary sources, or you can have 2 primary sources and 1 secondary source, or 1 primary source and 2 secondary sources. Now, a primary source is any material, written, or news footage, or even an object that comes from that time period. So, in our case, any material that comes from the Vietnam War era. You can find this material online, you can find it in a library, or even if you have someone in your family who served in the Vietnam War, you can interview them, or you could use objects they brought back. All that's okay for you to use and make an argument with. Now, a secondary source is material that's retrospectively written on an event. So it's more analytical and it uses primary sources to make its case. So you can use those as well, but you're required at least 1 primary source. Now, you will be required to cite your sources in the slide in which the information is used. Now, the way I would like you to cite your sources is the name of the material, the author of the material, if there is one, the date it was published or found or whatever, and where you retrieved it. So if it's a source from the internet, I'd like to know what website you found it on. If there's an electronic database you found it from, I'd like to know which electronic database you found it in. If you found it in the library, or if you went to a bookstore and actually bought it, or if it was just laying around your house. I'd like to know where you got the information from. Now, you'll have 3 slides in your presentation. Your first slide will be a slide concerning background information. This is where you'll have brief history, definitions, dates, social impact, things like that. That will be in your first slide. Your second slide will be your argument. This is where you'll be using most of your sources to support your argument, but also in this slide I would like you to make a counter argument, but focus mostly on your argument. And then in your final slide it will be your conclusion. And in your conclusion, I'd like you to summarize all the information you presented and bring closure to your presentation. Now, you can ask for help during the days we go to the computer lab. If you need help with citations or anything else like that, you can come see me. If you have questions as to whether or not sources are primary or secondary, you can see me. And if you have questions as to whether or not sources are even appropriate for the project, you can come see me. Now, the project will be due at the end of each week, and I will give you till at least Sunday night, no later than that.